All right, we're within a week to the 2022 NFL Draft. He's Paul Dottino. I am John Schmelk. This is when the mock drafts start becoming interesting because as teams meet with their entire staffs, coaches, scouts, GMs, some of the draft boards are actually finalized or close to finalized right now. So maybe some of the stuff we're hearing is real.
Maybe.
Or it's also lying season. Maybe it's all lies, so you never know. But let's go to some of the more recent mock drafts you have out there. Peter Schrager, who has a lot of insight, works at NFL Network, Paul, knows people around the league. He has a one-round mock out on NFL.com. He has the Giants taking Charles Cross and Sauce Gardner, two guys we've spoken a lot about. But the interesting thing here, he has the Giants selecting Cross with Evan Neal still on the board. What's the rationale?
Well, you look at Cross's technique, his athleticism, his length, his pass protection. You know, when you look at Neal, he's just a big man. And he has such an advantage over people because of his length, his size, and his frame.
And versatility, by the way.
No question, because he played some guard. But if you're strictly looking for technique and footwork and athleticism, Cross is your guy, and that's why he's the best in pass protection.
Best pass protector, best feet of any offensive tackle in the draft. Charles Davis, Ika Mekwonu, Kayvon Thibodeau, nothing to discuss there. We talked about those guys a lot. Mel Kiper and Todd McShay had a alternating three-round mock where each guy picks one, they go back and forth. So they had Ekwonu and Jermaine Johnson in the first round. Again, we talked about those guys. Jalen Petrie, the safety / kind of star player, slot linebacker, hybrid guy. We talked about him last week. Go check it out in round 2. The 2 third-round guys are interesting, Paul. 2 guys we haven't discussed in this format yet. Chad Muma, a linebacker out of Wyoming, who I think is a really good player, could go in the second round. And then Tariq Woolen, a really toolsy cornerback that blew up the combine.
Let's start with Woolen first. I'm not so sure that, he ran in the 4.2s. I'm not so sure that he won't be a better free safety than a corner.
Well, he's about 6'3", 6'4", so.
He will have versatility, but where will he finally land in the NFL? I'm not sure. He certainly does very well in press coverage in college. We saw that, John.
Good straight line guy, not so great with the changing of directions.
Which is why you may want to move him to free safety. As far as Muma, terrific coverage skills, got athleticism, has range. I think he's a middle linebacker in a 4-3 or an inside linebacker in a 3-4.
Agree.
Again, where do you want to use him?
And I love his instincts in the run game. He sees things so quickly,
no doubt.
Reads, reacts. He's fantastic in the attacks. Then you have Dane Brugler's 7-round mock. He does one of these a year. And, Dane's one of the best out there, Paul. Evan Neal, Sauce Gardner, again, names you've heard about.
Right.
Second round, Arnold Ebiketie, a pass rusher out of Penn State. Someone who has good tools, hasn't been playing football for a very long time, so there's probably room for improvement. He's an edge rusher that a lot of people think might even slip into the back of round 1.
Yeah, I think for him, he's one of those classic tweeners of even a few years ago, John, where he's undersized, only about 250, 255. Doesn't necessarily have great length or a great frame, but he's strong, he's athletic, he does everything well. He definitely has a motor to get after the quarterback. But for me, I think the problem is he's strictly a pass rusher coming off the edge. He's not going to cover anybody, and you're not going to use him as an outside linebacker.
Yes, no question about it. He's a guy you want going after the quarterback, that's for sure. 2 third-round picks, 2 guys that we like and we even talked about much here, Paul. Dylan Parham, a guard center out of Memphis, who's a good player. And then John Mechie, the other Alabama wide receiver, also has an ACL injury.
Right.
He's more of a possession receiver, while Jameson Williams was the speed guy.
Yeah, Mechie might also be able to play some slot when he gets into this league, John. Now, Parham has versatility. He's played guard and tackle. Some people think he's actually going to be a center.
He did some center stuff at the Senior Bowl.
Exactly, and that's why they tried him out there, because they're thinking, well, that extra versatility, or maybe that's where he winds up landing in the NFL, would be a good spot for him.
Then finally, I'll talk about Isaiah Likely, the tight end out of Coastal Carolina. Dane has the Giants taking him with their second, 5th-round pick. Giants need a tight end, Paul. He's more of your receiver type. He's an effort guy in the blocking game. He's just not very big. So I don't think you're going to rely on him there, but he didn't test well. But if you watch him at the Senior Bowl, he had more consistent separation, I thought, than any of the other tight ends there. He has speed to get down the field. So if you're looking for that move tight end to be a weapon in the passing game, Isaiah Likely could be your guy on day 3.
Scheme specific.
No question about it. Yep. You want him separated off that line of scrimmage. He splits out wide a lot for that Coastal Carolina offense. For Paul Dottino, I'm John Schmelk. We continue to track the mock drafts with less than a week to go to the NFL Draft.